My name is Leah Kim. I'm 31 years old. 5 years ago, I left Seattle and never went back. I used to work as a back-end developer for a cybersecurity company. We handled big clients like banks and government agencies. I wasn't just good at my job, I was the one people turned to when no one else could figure things out. But outside of work, I didn't really exist to my family. We hadn't talked since 2016. So one quiet Wednesday night in October 2023, I was surprised when my phone buzzed. It was my cousin Rachel, the only one who had my new number. She said, "Leah, your parents are trying to reach you. They want you to come home for Christmas." I sat down on the edge of my small Brooklyn bed. "Now?" I asked. "After all these years?" "They've been asking around," she said. "They sound serious." I hung up and stared at the wall. I hadn't thought about my family in a long time, but the memories came back fast, always feeling like I didn't belong, never being the favorite. I remembered being 13, sitting in a psychologist's office while Dr. Patel told my parents, "Leah isn't struggling because she's alone. She's struggling because she's being ignored." My mom rolled her eyes and said they loved both their kids the same. But I knew that wasn't true. My brother Dylan was the golden child, the football star, class president, always the favorite. He got a car on his 16th birthday. I got an old sweater from a thrift store. Even at Christmas, Dylan got amazing presents. Mine felt like they were picked last minute. Now, after all this time, my parents were finally reaching out. But they didn't know who I had become. Family holidays were always tough. Dylan was loud and popular, and I always felt invisible. Then I found coding. It started when I saw a flyer at school for a computer science club. I went once and never stopped going. For the first time, I felt like I belonged. Not to people, but to something that made sense. Code. The club was my safe place. We fixed old computers, shared books, and helped each other with our projects. I smiled, but I had a thought. I was going home in a week. But this time, I wasn't going back as the invisible girl. This time, I was coming back knowing my worth. A week before Christmas, I took time off work, wrapped small but thoughtful gifts, and drove 6 hours back to my old neighborhood in North Seattle. The house looked old and tired, the paint was faded, the bushes were wild, and the porch light flickered like a weak memory. I rang the doorbell with shaky hands. I heard footsteps. The door slowly opened. "Leah." My mom blinked. "Wow, it's really you." Leah was always the weird one, probably working in a basement somewhere. I smiled a little. "Something like that." Mom clapped her hands. "Dinner will be ready soon. Leah, put your things down. Dylan's using your old room as his office now, so you'll sleep on the couch." Of course. Of course I would. The night was full of quiet insults. Aunt Nora caught me by the punch bowl. "Your brother's starting a business. He's such a genius. And you're still in computers." "I write software." "Thanks," I said politely. "I'm good." At dinner, they sat me at the far end of the table near the kitchen door. Dylan, as usual, was the center of attention. "This is going to change everything," he said. "We just need money to start." "How much?" Dad asked. $200,000, Dylan said like it was nothing. I almost choked on my water. It was the same old startup story I'd heard a million times. "We'll find a way," Mom said, rubbing his hand. Family helps family. After dinner, Mom gave me a blanket and pointed to the couch. On Christmas morning, Dylan and Mia rushed down the stairs with lots of presents. They opened my gifts fancy and nice. "Leah, these are beautiful," Mom said, holding up a new bag. But when it was my turn, "Oh no," Mom said too loudly. "Leah, we totally forgot." Dylan laughed. "Just like when we were kids. Don't cry now, you're grown up." Something inside me changed. Not sadness or anger. Just clear things. "I told you," I said calmly. "I write software. I build security systems for big companies." Dad leaned forward. "How long have you made that much?" "Since I graduated." The bonuses change, but I've made 6 figures for a while. Then things changed. Mom stood up, smiling wide. Sweetheart, why didn't you tell us? We're so proud. Dad said, Dylan, your sister works with big companies. Dylan clenched his jaw. Mia whispered something to him. Mom sat next to me. Tell us about your apartment. How many bedrooms? 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. Fort Greene. Near work. She smiled. We should visit. Family should be close. I almost laughed. Family? After 8 years of silence? Actually, I said, standing. Just $200,000, Dylan said. With your salary, that's nothing, right? I looked at them. My parents, who once laughed when Uncle Mike offered me a dishwashing job. My brother, who spent his life mocking me. And his wife, who joined in the teasing just this morning. No, I said. Their smiles disappeared. What do you mean, no? Mom snapped. I mean, I'm not giving you any money. But we're family, Dad said, as if that mattered. I crossed my arms. Where was family when you kicked me out after graduation? Or when you paid for Dylan's college, but left me to figure it out? That was different, Mom said. We didn't have the money back then. You had money for Dylan, I pointed out. Mom's face tightened. You should help Dylan. You're selfish. One by one, I blocked them all, every name, every guilt trip. Gone. Except Sarah. She called that afternoon. Leah, she sighed, your family's imploding. Your mom says you're rich and won't help Dylan. Good, I said. She's telling people I forgot where I came from. Of course, Sarah said softly. They never admitted the daughter they ignored could succeed. I'm proud of you, she added. For what it's worth. It's worth a lot, I told her. You're the only one I want in my life. Are you really okay cutting off the rest of them? She asked. Sarah, I said gently. I cut them off 8 years ago. This just made it official. That evening, I met my friends at our usual spot in Fort Greene, a cozy wine bar with worn leather booths and fairy lights over the bar. I told them everything. Good riddance, Lisa said. They sound toxic as hell. Do you think you'll miss them? Another friend asked. I thought about it. No. I think I've been mourning the family I never had. This just closed the book. I was finally building the kind of life I used to dream about from a lumpy couch in my parents' basement. About a month ago, Dylan somehow got hold of a new number and called. Hey, Leah, he said awkwardly, chipper. Thought we could catch up. What do you want? I asked. Hurry. Madison should meet her aunt. Things are tight right now. Mom and Dad's house needs work. No, you don't even know how much. Doesn't matter, I said. He exploded. Lisa joked, your mom probably sensed your bank balance went up that night. Ethan brought champagne to the balcony. Let's buy a house, I said. With space. A yard. Maybe a dog. My phone buzzed. Sarah again. Mom says you must be a drug dealer. I laughed. Let them spin their stories. I'm living mine. If you've ever felt invisible in your own family, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment. Tell me what you walked away from. Tell me what peace you built. Your support reminds me I'm not alone. And maybe you need that reminder, too. My advice? Don't wait for permission to choose yourself. Build the life that reflects your worth, not their expectations. And if you relate, hit subscribe.